theme: discuss resistance to change and strategies that can be adopted to reduce resistance.
According to Cotter and Schlesinger, 2008, resistance to change is the unwillingness of workers or organizations to embrace new procedures, arrangements, or practices because of perceived risks, a lack of certainty, or a lack of faith in the leadership. Often resulting from a lack of control, a fear of the unknown, or incompetence with new systems, it can take many different forms, such as passive resistance, active opposition, or decreased productivity. Organizations that are going through change often face resistance because employees have emotional or cognitive ties to their current ways of working. Lewin's 1951 three-stage change model, which consists of unfreezing, changing, and refreezing, indicates that to overcome the resistance, it is important to raise awareness about the need for change, carry out the transition, and reinforce new behaviors. Additionally, transformational leadership, effective communication, and involving employees have been recognized as crucial stages to reduce resistance. For leaders, understanding resistance to change is vital for successfully implementing change initiatives. By addressing the concerns of employees, promoting a culture of adaptability, and offering the necessary support, organizations can lessen resistance and improve acceptance of change.
According to Jamawan and Aziza 2020, changes are intended to keep the business dynamic while also enhancing growth and employee performance, adjusting to the environment, and transforming workplace behavior patterns. We have all passed through stages in our lives where we've resisted change. As quoted by Robin Sharma, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. But why is change so challenging in an organization? Here are three common reasons why employees resist change. Number one, fear of uncertainty. The root cause of resistance to change is fear of the unknown. The uncertainty about change, new working methods, and new roles and responsibilities results in fear and confusion. As is often said, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Abbas 2021. Thus, as stated by Cantor 2012, it takes both an inspirational vision and a sense of safety to surpass inertia. Process certainty should therefore be established by leaders using straightforward, simple measures and schedule. 2. Lack of trust in leaders or change makers. According to Reggio 2024, people may oppose change at the organizational level because they tend to be skeptical of those who promote it. This meant that employees questioned the change makers' qualifications and expertise. Moreover, Creasy 2022 highlighted that employee resistance is further heightened by past unfavorable experiences as they lose hope in executive leadership and worry about a lack of support or an absence throughout the shift. Thus, promptly establishing credibility, being open and explicit about the advantages and possible consequences of the change, and offering assistance to employees are all important leadership lessons for change makers. Number 3. Loss of status or job security in the organization. As reported by Turner 2025, peers, supervisors, and employees will fight against administrative and technological advances that eradicate or restrict their position in the workplace. Creasy 2022 maintains that employees frequently lack the motivation to master new processes or technology when role changes are necessary. Employees become worried about the amount of time they have to implement changes, the absence of rewards, and therefore diminished independence and authority. Thus, When employees loses authority, prestige, or identity, they will resist the change.
There are three notable sources of resistance to change at an organizational level. They are technical, political, and cultural. Technical sources of resistance to change usually occur where there are changes to an organization's procedures or habits. This usually happens when employees have difficulty adjusting to changes that affect the day-to-day manual operation within an organization. An example of such is when employees refuse to adjust to a business's new way of documenting inventory digitally after using a hard copy manual method for years before switching to digital. The political source of resistance to change usually occurs when managers and persons who are in leadership roles within the organization feel threatened or challenged by the change. This usually is because of their fear of losing control or influence over their subordinates and their way of overseeing and access to certain resources. An example of a political source of resistance is when a company's board of directors revokes a manager's ability to fire employees and allows employees themselves to plead their case directly to the board. And finally, cultural sources of resistance to change. These occur when there are changes to an organization's norms, their values, traditions, and assumptions. This resistance usually happens when employees are already accustomed to a way that the organization functions, and it tends to happen if the changes that are implemented are not in line with the organization's core values. An example can be that there is a company that usually sells produce that are non-GMO, and they start using chemical enhancements to gain a larger yield, resulting in employees feeling that this is not in line with the company's core value of being health conscious. Now I pass you on to my other team member.
To effectively navigate changes, it is essential to implement targeted strategies that address and mitigate resistance to change that therefore helps foster a culture of adaptability and resilience. The imperial rational strategy, which is predicated on the idea that people are driven by their own interest, involves efficiently conveying information about the change and then providing suitable incentives for members of the organization to engage in the process. UE Global Campus Unit 2, 2024, page 29. According to Shuksratovna and Rachmanova 2024, the following 5 techniques can be adopted in the imperial rational strategy to reduce resistance. 1. Communication. This requires open and continuous communication between individuals of all levels regarding the reason for the change, its benefits, its challenges, and its impact. This will help to build trust. 2. Involvement. This encourages active inclusion of all individuals in the change process. By their involvement, employees will foster a sense of belonging, their voices will feel heard, and provide their support and commitment to all changes. 3. Training. Providing adequate training and resources equips employees with the necessary skills and knowledge to adopt the new processes, policies, and technologies. This can boost confidence and reduce fears of inadequacy. 4. Building a supportive culture. Creating a culture that embraces change involves encouraging innovation, openness, and adaptability. Leaders should be visible and approachable and acknowledge emotional responses from employees. Understanding these emotions can help address resistance and create a more supportive environment. And 5. Feedback mechanisms. Implementing channels for employee feedback allows concerns to be voiced and addressed, fostering a more receptive environment for change. To foster buy-in, employees need to understand what's in it for me. To effectively move employees from a hard copy manual inventory system to a digital system, a strategic response to the technical source of resistance should be that management should address employee resistance through clear communication, active employee involvement, and comprehensive training. Therefore, they will feel more supported and empowered to embrace the digital documentation system, leading to a smoother and more successful transition. By employing these, organizations can effectively manage and reduce resistance to change to facilitate those changes.
Here, I will be briefly discussing the importance of implementing those strategies to reduce resistance to change. Resistance to change is one of the biggest barriers to successful organizational transformation. So, by implementing these strategies, organizations can reduce resistance and create a culture where change is embraced rather than feared. Assessing change through methods such as key performance indicators, RASI matrices, and change impact assessments, according to Cummings and Rowley 2009, ensures that transitions align with organizational goals. One importance is ensuring employee engagement. Employees that feel appreciated and participated in the process are more likely to support change projects successfully. Employees are more inclined to embrace change than oppose it when they comprehend its justifications and can see how it will benefit them. Another is it minimizes productivity loss and workplace disruptions. Fear and uncertainty can lower motivation and productivity. Organizations enable workers to adjust by offering them resources and training, which guarantees that they maintain their self confidence and carry on delivering quality works as indicated by Cummings and Rowley 2009. It also builds a culture of adaptability and innovation. In the fast paced business world of today, organizations that foster a culture of support and view change as an opportunity rather than a threat are more adaptable and resilient. Another importance is that it reduces turnover and retaining talent. With change that is purely handled can cause stress, frustration, and a rise in staff arbitration. And it also enhances organizational success and competitive advantage. Resistance to change can slow down progress, but organizations that successfully manage and reduce resistance through well planned strategies can maintain a competitive edge. To conclude this presentation, I'll say change is an inevitable part of growth, but resistance is manageable. Organizations that take a strategic approach to addressing resistance through clear communication, training, involvement, and support can turn challenges into opportunities for growth and innovation. As Robin Sharma wisely noted, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. By actively reducing resistance, organizations can ensure that the change initiatives lead to lasting success and a more resilient workforce.